Hello, Lion friends. It's Miss Susan. Miss Laura and I have decided to start this YouTube channel so we can keep in touch with you while school's out over the next few weeks. And we're going to be doing so many fun things on here. We're going to read stories. We're going to do some math. We're going to do language arts. We'll have crafts, science, all sorts of fun things. So you're not going to miss too much while you're out of school. And I wanted to start our YouTube channel first thing with a story. And I chose a story that was my very favorite when I was a little girl. And here it is. It was called Miss Twiggley's Tree. And it's by Dorothea Warren Fox. And she was the author and the illustrator. So everybody think, we always ask this, what does the author do? And what does the illustrator do? If you said that the author writes the book and the illustrator draws the pictures, you are right. So congratulations. All right, you ready? Settle in, and I'm going to read you Miss Twiggley's Tree. Miss Twiggley's Tree by Dorothea Warren Fox. Funny Miss Twiggley lived in a tree with a dog named Puss and a color TV. She did what she liked, and she liked what she did. But when company came, Miss Twiggley hid. "It's not that I do not like people," said she, "but one gets a bit shy when one lives in a tree." She named her dog Puss. He didn't mind that. "My very best friend," he said, "is a cat." Old Miss Twiggley was friendly with bears. "They shed on the sofa," she said, "but who cares? They don't find me odd, and I'm grateful for that. I don't think they'd mind if I slept in my hat." And just to be sure, she slept in her hat. She slept in her hat, but she made up her bed, and she swept and she dusted until the bears said they were thoroughly tired of being so neat and refused when she asked them to hold up their feet. Now Puss was clever, a smart dog indeed. He did the shopping for things they would need: groceries, clothing, and tools for repairs, bones for himself, and jam for the bears. But whenever he shopped for Miss Twiggley's meals, the town dogs teased and snapped at his heels. So poor Puss shivered, as scared as could be, and he hurried back home to his safe and sound tree. Miss Twiggley and Puss were happy up there, high above ground in a house in the air. "Simply disgraceful," said people in town, "to live in a tree and never come down." The wife of the mayor was maddest of all. "To not be at home when I come to call is unforgivable, and besides that, I have been told she sleeps in her hat. My husband must know of a town law," said she, "against things of that kind going on in a tree." She marched to the mayor. "Now what can you do? That house in the tree is spoiling our view. Miss Twiggley's a nuisance. No town should allow a person to hang up her wash on a bough. The smoke from her chimney is causing a smog, and she lives, so they say, with some bears and a dog." The poor mayor sighed. "My dear, I agree, but more pressing problems are bothering me. The weather report says it's going to rain. I fear we are in for a wild hurricane." It did rain for a week and a month and a day. The wind blew a gale and the bridge washed away. The town was cut off, its people afloat. Whatever went by they used for a boat. The road and the meadow were one stormy sea, and right in the middle stood the house in the tree. Old Miss Twiggley had battened her hatches and checked her supply of tea and dry matches. "String up some hammocks," she called to the bears. "Puss, you build platforms for spare beds and chairs. We may have some callers, and wet ones at that. I'll go change the bows on my best sleeping hat. I'll get right to work on a big pot of stew, to be sure there'll be plenty to feed quite a few." She put on the kettle and buttered some bread. "Now let them all come. I'm ready," she said. "They're coming," called Puss, who perched way up high, holding a spyglass close to his eye. "Ahoy!" called the mayor. "Miss Twiggley, yoo-hoo! Is there room in your house for a wet friend or two?" "There's room for you all," Miss Twiggley replied. "Climb up where it's warm. Come up and be dried." She hauled up the mayor and the chief of police, and sweet Trudy Wilmot, the groceryman's niece. Pigs came in their trough. A wet mother cat arrived with her kittens aboard a straw hat. The dogs of the town came swimming right up, big dogs and small dogs and one frisky pup. But plump Mrs. Honk was afraid of the stairs, and little Joe Pettibone didn't like bears. "Don't fret, Mrs. Honk," Miss Twiggley said. "You won't mind the height when you're tucked into bed. And Joe, my big bears are as tame as can be. They don't spill a crumb when I ask them to tea." In the very last boat, bedraggled and wet, was the wife of the mayor, looking upset. She felt so ashamed of the words she had said when her hostess declared, "I've fixed you my bed." Miss Twiggley's new friends were cozy and warm, sheltered and fed and out of the storm. Though the wind made the rain go splittery splat, the mayor's wife slept safe and sound in the hat. Old Puss, once so shy, forgot all his fear. The town dogs were fun. He was glad they were here. They pretended the house was like Noah's Ark. They played games and sang till long after dark. Now the town folks were glad, just as pleased as could be, that funny Miss Twiggley lived in a tree. And Miss Twiggley found out something wonderful too. When emergencies come, you don't think about you. You help all you can, and you never ask why. Then the first thing you know, you forget to be shy. So did you like the story? I love that story. I still love that story. I want you to think, aren't we in a little bit of an emergency now since they closed school? Yeah. So Miss Twiggley was a helper when an emergency came. I want you to think about how you can be a helper while you're at home. Maybe every day, think of something you can do to help at home. Could you set the table? Maybe you could do everything the first time you're asked. What if you gave your brother or sister some extra hugs and some playtime? You can be helpful even when you don't feel like it, because being helpful always makes you happy. So boys and girls, I miss you already. And Miss Laura and I will be here on Monday with some school lessons for you and some more fun things. Have a great weekend. I love you. Bye.